Food Corner. Today we're going to look at a really simple, quick, easy soup recipe that you can make for your family this fall. For this recipe, you'll need 1 pound Italian sausage, cabbage, water, a can of beef broth, Italian stewed tomatoes, 1 can of French onion soup, fresh or frozen tortellini, and some Parmesan cheese. The first thing that we have to do for this soup is to brown our Italian sausage. And the ground Italian sausage is really the best one to use for this recipe. It really gives it a lot of the sausage throughout, as opposed to a link sausage. And so we're going to go ahead and get this browned. Whenever you're using a ground meat in a soup, sometimes they tend to get really greasy. One of the things that you can do is to really make a conscious effort to drain that fat before you put it into the rest of the soup. The way that we're going to do that today is we're going to put it in a colander. And you can see I've got a smaller bowl underneath. We're just going to take this once it's done, dip it out of the skillet with a slotted spoon, put it in our colander, and then we're going to rinse it. We're actually going to run it under hot water. And then the final step is to put it on a plate with a paper towel, spread it out, and then blot it with another paper towel. That's going to remove a lot of the fat from our ground meat before it goes into the soup. That way we don't have grease floating on top. Now that we have our Italian sausage drained and ready to go in our soup, we are ready to put the rest of the ingredients in. Now this is so quick and easy. This is one of those great meals that you can do when you've had a busy day, you don't know what to do, don't want to drive through the drive-thru, want a good hearty home-cooked meal. This is the recipe for you. We're just going to start putting in all of our ingredients. We're going to put in our can of beef broth, our can of Italian stewed tomatoes, and our can of condensed onion soup. Now, one of the things about this recipe is it is a little bit higher in sodium than we might really like for it to be. And the reason for that is because we do have a lot of canned products. We have the Italian sausage, and so it's going to be a little bit higher in sodium. One of the ways that you can combat that is to buy the low sodium canned products, and so that'll help lower that. We're going to put our sausage in there. We're also going to add in 2 cups of water. I'm going to give this a quick stir, and then the final ingredient is some chopped cabbage. And I love putting lots of vegetables in soup. In fact, you could even cut back a little bit on the cabbage, maybe put some carrots in there and trade that up. One of the things with cabbage, you just need a very small head. Cut it in half and then cut it in a quarter. You just want to take the center out, and then you're just going to chop it coarsely. You can leave it in shreds if you want. I find that it's a little bit easier to eat if we go ahead and give it a little bit more of a chop than that, so that it's a little bit more in a bite-sized piece. Okay. Now I already have about 2 cups of cabbage right here, and so we're going to put that in there. As you can see, it's one of those just come in and pretty much just dump in. We're going to stir this around. We're going to bring it to a boil for 8 to 10 minutes, uncovered. That's one of the things that's a little bit different about this soup is you do it uncovered. You can see that our soup is very bright in color. Part of the reason for that is because we haven't overcooked it. By cooking our vegetables to where they're done but not overdone, it really keeps the bright, vibrant color in our vegetables and in our soup. You can also see that the hard work that we did getting all the fat out of our ground sausage has really paid off because there's no fat on top. If you do tend to have a little bit of fat rise to the top on a soup, there's a few cook's tips. One is to put a piece of ice in a paper towel. Simply run it across the top, and that fat will adhere to that piece of ice. The other thing that you can do is take a leaf of lettuce, and lettuce will also draw fat out of a soup, and so you can do that as well. 2 little tricks. Now that we have our soup to this point, it's time to add in our tortellini. You can use fresh or you can use frozen. Usually you find these either in the refrigerator or the freezer section of the store. And so we're gonna put that in there. We're gonna bring this back up to a full simmer, and we're gonna simmer it until the tortellini is tender and done. So probably about 6 to 7 more minutes. Our tortellini is tender now, and so our soup is done. So we're gonna dish it up here. You can see it's got the cabbage and the stewed tomatoes and the Italian sausage. It's a really good hearty soup. We're gonna just put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top just for a little bit of a garnish. Have some good Italian bread, and you have a delicious one-dish meal for your family in under 30 minutes. Hope you've enjoyed this recipe. Come back to the Food Corner more this fall for quick and easy meals for your family. Be sure to come back to the Food Corner, part of newstar.com, for more demonstrations and recipes. And if you have any questions, contact the Pottawatomie County OSU Extension Office. We'd like to send a great thanks to Rock Creek Baptist Church for letting us use their facilities today. And remember, eat better, eat together.